Alright, so have any of you ever walked into a house or a cafeteria and looked in the trash can and you just see so many items in there that could be recycled? We need to come together and protect our environment, and that starts with what I like to call the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Can you think of the last time you recycled? If not, that's okay, because it's never too late to partake in helping our environment and start recycling. According to 11 Facts About Recycling, the average person generates over 4 pounds of trash every day and about 1.5 tons of solid waste per year. That should be enough evidence to make everyone have to start recycling, due to the fact that trash that isn't recycled goes straight to the landfills. The opposing side, however, argues that the cost of recycling is too high, which is why it shouldn't be mandatory. I, however, am all for recycling. Recycling benefits our environment in such a way. According to Kate Pullen, it reduces landfills, reduces energy consumption, and decreases pollution. I think after understanding all the advantages recycling has to our environment, the cost becomes irrelevant. I love that we have the opportunity to recycle and that we can help our environment in such a way. I had the opportunity to live in California for 4 months this summer. And in California, it's a law that you have to recycle. So they have a garbage can for each item that needs to be recycled. So they had one for cardboard and paper, cans, glass, and then just waste. So I personally think it should be a law that every state has to recycle. Recycling is something that needs to be done. The amount of trash not being recycled is having a negative impact on our environment, which is why we will take a look at these 3 points. First, we will talk about the landfills and the effects they have on the environment. Second, the cost of recycling isn't as high as people presume. And third, although recycling isn't mandatory, there are alternative ways to recycle. Now that I've briefly covered some of those points, I will be discussing my first point on where the trash ends up. First, by making recycling mandatory, we will reduce the amount of trash put into landfills, which is a structure built into or on the ground on top of where trash is put so that it's separated from its surroundings. If recycling was mandatory, it would reduce the amount of trash put into the landfills. The U.S. has over 3,091 active landfills and over 10,000 old municipal landfills, according to the Environmental Protection Agency. Also, a man named Dan Koplinski, who has a degree in environmental sciences, states that Americans generate 251 million tons of trash in 2006, and that's the most recent year for which the Environmental Protection Agency has data. So then you might ask, what percent of trash is actually being recycled to reduce the amount of trash in landfills? Well, the answer is 55% gets buried in landfills, 33% gets recycled, and 12.5% goes to incinerators. According to dictionary.com, recycling is defined as to treat or process used or waste materials so as to make suitable for reuse. This is where the 3 R's come in: reduce, reuse, and recycle. If we were required to take part in the 3 R's, we could minimize waste in the landfills. So as you can see, the advantages of recycling can be so useful for our environment, especially to reduce the amount of waste in landfills. But one of the major reasons that recycling isn't mandatory is because people argue the cost is too high, which brings me to my next point. The biggest controversy about recycling is that the cost is too high. The director of the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency of Solid Waste, Michael Shapiro, states, a well-run curbside recycling program can cost anywhere from $50 to $150 per ton. Trash collection and disposal programs, on the other hand, cost anywhere from $70 to more than $200 per ton. This demonstrates that while there's still room for improvements, recycling can be cost-effective. I believe that if it's helping and improving our environment, the cost shouldn't be a factor. And although recycling may be costly, it opens up many and hundreds of job opportunities. According to collection costs, the recycling reuse industry consists of approximately 56,000 establishments that employ over 1.1 million people and generate an annual payroll of nearly 37 billion and a gross over 236 billion in annual revenues. So the whole point to recycling is reusing the materials being recycled. Ultimately, I believe we are saving money by recycling due to the fact that we don't have to buy more products because things are being reused, or in other words, recycled. If we as a society can be informed on all the different advantages recycling has, I think it would be a good way to move people towards the direction of wanting to make recycling become mandatory. And finally, even though it's not yet mandatory, there are alternative ways to recycle. There may not be trucks coming to your house to gather your recycled items, but you can recycle on your own. For example, my family, we recycle, but one example that we recycle is cans, and we take them to the place where they smash up the cans or whatever, and we get paid for actually bringing our cans to them. So, if mandatory, it would open up hundreds and hundreds of job opportunities. By not recycling, we are only wasting products that can be reused, and I truly believe that recycling needs to be done to ensure that our environment isn't being harmed. And I hope that you can see that by recycling, we are opening up a door to many wonderful opportunities, and we're just starting with the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. The benefits of recycling are endless. It's just a matter of us as a society coming together to take action. In conclusion, there are 3 reasons why recycling should be mandatory. First, landfills have a negative impact on our environment. Second, the cost of recycling isn't as high as people presume, and it opens up job opportunities. And finally, although it's not yet mandatory, there are other alternatives to recycling. Now that you know a little more about recycling, I hope it can help you understand the importance of recycling and the impact it has on our environment and as a whole. And I would like to challenge each one of you to recycle. Even if you start small by maybe just recycling your cans, it still makes a difference. And here are my cards.